Hi, good morning. This is Patricia, and today is day 18, and today is about talking about something that you haven't heard from me yet. So, briefly, when I was in my late teens, I met this guy who turned out to become my husband a few years later. So, this guy was from Lebanon, and at the time, there was a civil war there, and his parents were still living in Lebanon, and he was living in France. So we traveled to Lebanon a few times over the course of the years we were together. And in early 80s, we went there once, and on the date we were to leave, we couldn't because the airport was bombed and they had to close it. And this lasted for a few days. And eventually, when things settled down, they announced that the airport was open again, and that people who had a ticket to fly during those days when it was closed could come to the airport and they would be put in a flight. So we went there and there was chaos because everybody went to the airport. So what happened is that there were a lot of people from the military and they were under pressure, and at some stage one of them pushed my mother-in-law and she fell down, and my husband immediately reacted and wanted to get back at him, and he was about to take his gun off and shoot my husband when another guy from military who was with him took him away, and that was it. So we waited and waited, and eventually on this day we couldn't leave, so we had to go home and come back the following morning. And on the following morning we had to wait long queues at the airport, and we eventually were put on a flight which wasn't the destination we were going to, but on a flight going to Greece. And then they said, look, go there, and then when you're there, find a flight to go where you're supposed to fly. So that's what we did. And while we were waiting, there were more bombing, and but eventually we were able to leave and to go home. So that day was the longest day I traveled because we were up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we arrived in France after midnight on the same day, and then we had to rent a car and drive another 2 hours to get home, but at least we were safe. So that's all for me, and hope I didn't give you too much shake. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.